Welcome back to West Texas View.
Welcome back to our program. This is our last segment of this series of programs about things that you need to do and ways that you can make your life better with just taking control of your thought processes. And I wanted to share something that was on Larry King Live a few weeks ago, and they were talking about this book, The Secret, and the law of attraction. And Larry King asked this question. He said, if the universe manifests abundance at a mere thought, why is there so much poverty and starvation and death in the world? And that really makes you stop and think. But why is it that there's so many people in our world that are lazy or that don't want to make enough effort to do something? And we say, why are those people there? Well, that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the law of attraction. It means that there's people that are not willing to make that kind of effort. They wish something, but they don't work for something. And then the next thing was that one of the guests that he had on the show said, you have to remember that it's not a cultural thing. It doesn't just work in America, but it works in any place in the world, because this is a universal law of attraction, that the like attracts like. But just because you've never heard of it or no one's ever taught you to do this. So I want you to talk more. I love your stories about things that you've made. How did you make your decisions, for example, for your career? Did you set goals, or did you kind of just take what fate handed you, or what your parents wanted you to do, or what your best friend was going to do? That's how a lot of people make the decisions. Mm-hmm. They're major decisions in their life.
And I can see, I do agree with you, and there are definitely people that will share with you some of your talents, some of your gifts, some of your attributes that could be better utilized in maybe a career or something, some endeavor that you're doing. But those major decisions for me always came back to what I was called to do, mm-hmm. what I was made to do, and that comes from
knowing yourself too.
Knowing yourself and from a higher power. So in putting those things in place, uh-huh. in asking advice from friends, sometimes even a stranger, you go up to a stranger and ask them a point blank question, and they will give you their first impression. And you can work from that then, because then you think, well, all right, this is what I need to work with. This is the kind of impression I want to make. I don't want to make that kind of impression, or however that works for you. But as far as the major decisions for me, I have always followed my heart. Uh-huh. And because that is from deep within, uh-huh. I wake up in the morning and I know that I'm in the right place, doing the right thing, mm-hmm. pursuing the right goals, all for that purpose, which is pure. It isn't something that I'm trying to attain for myself or some time of material wealth. I went from a six-figure, I won't put what the number was in front of that six-figure income, into what I'm doing now, which is much less. It's not about the money. It's about what you want to do, what you want to live your life for, and how you want to leave this world. Uh-huh. And so there's a challenge for you. How would you want someone, your best friend, what do you want them to say about you at your funeral? What would you want your spouse to say about you? What do you want someone that you work with, a coworker? What are they going to say at your funeral? What is your eulogy going to look like? What are you leaving behind? That's what you have to ask yourself. Is it of some value, or are you just laying up material things? Because you can't really cuddle up to all of those material things. Yes, it's nice to have a nice car, a nice home. I'm all for that. Go for it. More power to you. But those aren't the things that are going to last. The relationships that are going to last. The friendships that you have are going to last. The people that you touch, those that you help, those that you empower to be better. That is what we're talking about here. That's what really makes a person that has some integrity. And we talk about integrity. So people don't know what honesty is anymore, or what integrity is. There's some basic rules about that. As far, do what you would do in private that you would do in public. If you're doing stuff in private that you wouldn't do in public,
don't do it.
Yeah, that's, you're in a gray area there. And I'm just saying these are things to aspire to. These are things that you can think of as you go. Then the closer you are to that, in setting your goals, in making decisions, in following your heart, the closer you're going to be in achieving those goals, because they just automatically start to happen. And again, I'm not saying that you're not going to have an obstacle here and there, because you will, but those obstacles, they will contrast all of the things that you achieve. They will show you how well worth it was to go and do those things. And again, it could be, your resolutions. Put power to those resolutions in keeping them for more than just into the first couple weeks of February. See those through to the end of the year, because that New Year's resolution really does play into how it shakes out for the rest of the year. So at the end of the week, you look at your goals and you look and see where you're at in those goals. What did you do? What didn't you do? How is it going to help you into the next week, the next month? And at the end of the year, you take a time and you reflect on what you achieved during the year and how did it relate to your goals that you originally set. And you continue that on. And it really is a lifelong effort. It isn't something that, there isn't any magic formula. You just have to, there's some basics.
You have to start.
You just have to start. You write it down. You put a plan to that. You put a time frame on it. You give yourself a deadline. You review those goals. You visualize it. Maybe it's a picture out of a magazine. Maybe it's something that you've written or you've drawn or somebody has given you. Put that where you can see it. And you're never, I'm telling you, it's never too late to get started on those things. And it could be a simple goal like having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch. Or it could be more, it could be something more in depth, something more difficult.
And I have a great story to tell, because my daughter started goal setting at the age of 3, and one of her goals was not to miss a day of school. And she went to the first day of preschool and loved it, and said, I'm not going to miss a day of school. And we said, write it down and make sure you know that you're going to be able to accomplish that. And 3,500 class days later, all the way through high school, preschool, everything, she didn't miss school. And they had an assembly to award her. And when she went off the stage, the reporter said, how did you not get measles or fall off of a ledge and break a leg? And she said, we don't think sick at our house, we think well. So let's leave that as the end of our program. It's been a real pleasure to have Carl here for the last 2 Sundays talking about his experience in goal setting and self-motivation and self-affirmations and all of the things that you need to do. And if nothing else, we hope that we've triggered your excitement to go check out some books at the library, read some of these authors that talk about the law of attraction, the goal setting, and all of the things that it'll do to help you improve your life in all 6 areas of your life, whether it's in the relationships, your social area, your physical area, your mental area, your spiritual area, with your family relationships, and knowing yourself better. So we'll see you next Sunday with another program, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB-TV and KWES-TV.